Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Torn Hearts. Alright, cast and crew information down below. And let's see what this IMDb plot has to say. Follows a country music duo who seek out the private mansion of their idol and end up in a twisted series of horrors that force them to confront the limits they'd go for their dreams. Yes, dreams always getting you in trouble. All right, so this is another new movie. I believe this is on Epics as well as this other one that I just reviewed. So it is a new movie, so we will try to keep this as spoiler free as we can. Uh, really wasn't too interested, to be honest, in seeing this to begin with. But it is starring Katey Sagal, um, and I guess that's kind of the draw. It's one of those times where you see, there's a certain somebody in the movie, and that kind of convinces you enough. I'm not one to be totally drawn, like, oh my god, that person's in the movie, I gotta go see it. There's not too many people out there that kind of make me do that, but sometimes if I see that a movie has at least somebody familiar and that I'm kind of interested in, not totally turned off by, I will give it a chance. So I came across it and I'm like, okay, I'll give it a chance. She's in this movie. Let's see what she can do. I like her. She's a good actress. Um, and that's, I don't know if she's done anything else horror wise, but I guess it was different to see her um, in a horror movie. So let's see what she's got. So a little bit of curiosity kind of rolled me into this one. So yeah, it kind of starts off where you have two girls here, Jordan and Lay or whatever, and they've kind of formed a bond and formed a small, I guess, small group, just the two of them, trying to make it in country music, and they had a little bit of success, but I guess they're trying to get to bigger and better things, and they have a manager, and he kind of sets them up with this guy who's a bigger star, and one of the girls kind of falls for him a little bit, or the two girls are basically different kind of personalities and whatever, and they each contribute a different thing to their band or duo, whatever you want to call it, and long and behold, they kind of get this opportunity, at this chance to, they kind of blow it with him and that opportunity, but then they get this other opportunity to meet Harper, which is Katie's character here, and she is a former star, former country star, and had made it big, or was on the verge of making it big, also in a duo with another woman, also when she was a lot younger, and unfortunately tragic events unfolded, and her music partner didn't make it. Let's just call it at that. And since then, her career kind of fell off a cliff. A lot of people still respect her and whatever, but she just didn't really want to make music after that, and so forth. But two girls search her out and go to her house, convince her to let them in. They go inside, they get to know her a little bit. She's definitely an odd character. She obviously then don't want to get into spoiler territory, but let's just say she starts viewing them as the way she viewed her and her former partner back in the day, and how their ups and downs and so forth. So they kind of convince her that, yeah, that she can sing on their next single with them, and it's kind of like each side had to convince each other, so that they're almost kind of in that kind of range. but then Harper kind of starts to explore the duo, test the duo, see how strong of a bond they have, and see if she really wants to sing with them and she really wants to sabotage them, if she's really crazy, what is going on here. And then let's just say things kind of spin out of control. I said spoiler alert, but I think as you're watching this, I don't think there's anything way out there. I think, if you're a horror fan, you're going to figure out fairly quickly, the direction this is going, what's going to happen. I guess, it's how it's going to end is I guess what's the big thing you're waiting for. I think you're going to know the direction this is headed, meaning you're going to know what is happening here, and you're going to know everything headed towards that end. Is just how are they going to end this movie. But I think everything leading towards it, I think you're going to see it and see it coming. So I don't think there's any major surprises. In other words, I guess this is a little bit different. I've seen a couple of music themed horror, I guess, in the last couple of years. Set up around music, and I know there's other ones that over the course of time. But I don't see many, or at least many at a time. So I guess that's a little bit of a draw in this setting is that a little bit different kind of a setup. We're not going in the woods, and we do end up in a house here, but it's not a haunted house. So you have a little bit of a few different things happening here than the standard. Or at least up front, and if you pull it back, then you do get a little bit of the standard. But I can at least appreciate the kind of a trying to do something a little bit different as far as the storyline and the setup and so forth. But again, there's no super surprise here. You kind of see where this is going. I actually thought the end of the movie, as it's kind of headed towards the credits here, I guess to put it that way. It's kind of interesting and funny and sad in a lot of ways, and maybe even poking I don't know if the people behind this movie, how much they had to do with music, but maybe poking a little fun or taking a shot at music making. I'm not the music expert, but some things you read and whatever, blah blah. But I guess, or just I guess they're trying to shock you, but again, you maybe not totally shocking. But I think at least I didn't think they would show that. Maybe you would think that. But anyway, yeah, it was interesting, and it's very hard when you're trying to describe something that you just don't want to give away. But yeah. What else is there to say? It's not a lot of action going on. You're gonna have to wait. You're gonna get a lot of, you're gonna get a little bit of the setup, meeting the two girls and kind of setting the stage early, and then, when they meet Harper, you're gonna have to go through that. There's a little strangeness there. There is just a ton of dialogue. It's just a lot of talking to get out those strange points and so forth. So obviously not a big movie based on a lot of action until you get to basically the final act and the final scene. There's probably one other sort of action part before really things go in the horror direction, we'll call it at that, which is an interesting scene and kind of went, yeah, I mean, not, I don't know, not, I guess it could have been worse, but whatever. Interesting enough. But yeah, it's just one of those horror movies, and it's not even like psychological horror. It's just a lot of dialogue before you really get into the horror of the moment. It's not a ton of blood and guts either. It's not really built on that either. It's just, kind of you have Harper, and she's weird, she's odd, and why is it she's that way? You're gonna figure that out. It's fairly obvious, and then it's fairly obvious what she's doing, and then it happens. So, good acting. Again, a good attempt at setting up a different kind of storyline. But nothing amazing, nothing surprising. I did like the direction, of what happens, and again, that ending part I thought was a little amusing. The end. But they kind of leave it thinking that maybe it's going to end one way, then it kind of ends a different way, and then they have that ending. So, if it would have ended, I guess, the first way they kind of set it up to end, I would have been mad. Then it kind of ended the way it ended, and I was like, okay, I like that better. And then obviously the little amusement there at the end. I won't say that because then that'll might spoil it. But yeah, but nothing's gonna blow you out of the water here. But certainly, I think you're a fan of Katey, or you just looking for something new, something maybe a little bit different. Like I said, a different kind of setup, but definitely when you take a layer or two off, it's kind of the same as what we've seen in some other stuff. But yeah, I don't know if it's just the mood I'm in, but I'm going to give this one 2.5 pools of blood. So yeah, I've kind of given that rating to a couple of them now. But yeah, this one's going to get 2.5 out of 5. Nothing fantastic, but not bad. It's something new. If you're looking for something new out there, again, I believe you have Epics. But I'm sure it'll be out on Amazon or DVD soon enough, so you can catch it. Wherever it's released, it always gets a wider release eventually. So, hopefully you guys can check that out if you're looking for something new. So with that, horrorosgorereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find more reviews. If you're tired of watching me ramble on, or looking at my face or my head or whatever, blah blah, you can head over there, catch some written reviews. If you're interested in doing some reading instead of listening. But if you like the video reviews, you can always subscribe to this channel. Twitter, Facebook, information down below, along with the comment section, so you can feel free to comment on this movie, something in horror, you want to talk about horror, you want to complain about the video, whatever, feel free to do so. And if you have something you want me to review, let me know, and we'll see if we can get that done as well. So with that, I guess I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.